Hello, I'm KelpNeedsHelp, and this is the start of my series of learning how to play Minecraft, in particular learning to fight in Minecraft, or as it's better known, Minecraft PvP. Why I chose to learn Minecraft PvP, and my ultimate goals, is a story in itself, which is what I'll be talking about in this episode. If you'd like to skip ahead to the next episode where the action starts, feel free to do so. For those around to hear the whole story, hello. Let's dive in. I had heard of Minecraft around when it came out, but didn't know what it was about at all, and had no reason to show interest at the time, as I was set on other hobbies. Growing up, I liked to play games. I enjoyed playing, but it was never high on my list of other hobbies. Something I had noted about gaming is that I much preferred games where you had creative choices, over puzzles, quests, or platform games. I really liked to make up games in real life to play with friends and spent lots of effort doing so prior to illness. Illness brought on a lot of hardships, where each day I was simply focused on survival. In 2020, however, I was given an opportunity to stabilize myself, and this created an environment to relearn and navigate. Making friends while mostly bedridden was a new thing to learn. I started by using Discord. I made friendships there, bonding over media we all enjoyed, and a year later those friends asked to play Minecraft. In 2021 my first account was made to play with those friends. I knew absolutely nothing. I had never seen a video of Minecraft content, and was jumping in completely blind. That brief time of playing with them revealed to me several things. I was lost, and really bad. Most unfortunate of all, was that my disability was prevalent in a digital space as well. I had known that would be the case, but I had already accepted my physical limitations. Accepting my intellectual ones was a hard pill to swallow. The most important discovery, however, was how wonderful it was to exist in a space where I could be perceived, even though I still had limitations. The simple joy of being able to walk around, to watch the sunrise and set was incredibly profound and moving. It was this discovery that led to the pursuit of my journey. While my friends stopped playing very shortly, I started to research. I started watching YouTube Minecrafters and started to learn a few things. I mostly watched builders, but slowly became aware of the different ways to play Minecraft. The three main avenues I discovered was builders, for creative players, redstone, for the engineers, and finally PvP, for fighters. Given my artistic proclivity, anyone that has known me would assume I would enjoy the building side most. Building is also slow-paced, so it would make even more sense for me to do so given my limitations. That said, while I too assumed this at first, I came to learn pretty quickly that something was wrong. My first attempt at playing Minecraft, I discovered a server through Discord that stated it was a casual building server. I joined and was met with a whole list of obstacles I had not foreseen. I played for maybe a month or so before quitting due to pain and burnout. At this point I had no real clue of my limitations due to my disability, and how to manage it. I also had what has been a lifelong issue for me, become impossible to deal with illness. The problem with art, building, or creativity is that for me, my focus is so strong that I forget the world around me. I forget to eat, I forget pain, I forget that time even exists. There is no reasonable stopping point when creating. If you go until you finish this one thing, that one thing can take hours, and hours is something that I don't have. It's possible to break down building in slow increments by saying I can only build in X amount of time. However, for me, I found the idea of that an abomination. Ridiculously frustrating to the point it's not fun anymore. I stopped playing for quite a while to ponder of my limitations and what I could do. My illness is filled by so many things I can't do. In order to help me decide what I should do, I came up with a list of goals. That way I could focus on what I could do, to achieve those in a way that complemented my needs, meeting me where I'm at, instead of working against them. My main goal is to have and make friends. What I find most fun are death survival games. And most importantly, what has to take priority, is that whatever I do, I have to play in a manner that doesn't add harm to me to the point I need long breaks to recover from. With these goals in mind, it highlighted a path forward. To make friends you need people, to get their attention you need a story, and finally to stay with people you need to be able to spend time with them. While you can absolutely make friends while building, most builders tend to play much more solitary, due to the nature of creation. Redstoners, while they may need others for testing out their creations, from time to time, are similar to builders, but fighters. In order to fight you need another person. Minecraft PvP is an incredibly social operation, as by nature, requires another individual in order to preform, and so started a thought. At first I hadn't considered fighting because I believed my illness would make it impossible due to its fast-paced nature. However, thinking on it further, things started to make sense. Fighting, even if one is skilled, does not last long. There is a beginning, middle, and end that typically exists all under 5 minutes. Because of this, it would give me ample time to check in with myself after each skirmish. Am I breathing? Do I need water? How's my heart rate? Do I need to stop for the day? These opportunities for rest and check-ins aligned really well for my illness. Now that that was established as a potential opportunity, I still had to consider other factors to reach my goal. In order to make lasting friends, I need to be able to reach a level of competence where it is enjoyable to play with me, and am not dying the second I step on the field. This means I need to practice. I also, for myself, cannot set my expectations too high in how well I may or may not be able to play, even after reaching a satisfactory level. So long as I can be average, well enough to have fun with, I will have met the goal. While I cannot play for long, and I cannot make promises about when I can play, consistency is key to the foundation of friendship. And in a manner I can find consistency. I may not be able to show up every day, but I can show up at least once a week. Crucially to this operation, I can show up at the same time of day, to maximize my chances of meeting the same people, and establishing consistency, even though my illness is anything but consistent. The final point to finding success with my goal was in communicating and crafting a story through my character. My speech is limited, and often while playing in a fast-paced place like PvP there isn't time to say anything at all, so my name, and the skin of my character, become my most important tool for communicating what I need to tell. Like setting up my initial goal, there were several goals my character needed to convey. The first, most important, is that I am disabled. The second is something that speaks to me, that will convey my personal interests as an individual. The third goal is that my skin needs to be somewhat memorable or stands out. My fourth and final goal, if possible, is that my skin should be timeless, in the sense that as who I am as a player grows and learns, or if my condition worsens, it needs to be of a nature that will still suit me. It will still be something that speaks to me as a person, with all the changes that life throws at me. Out of all the things I've done on my Minecraft journey, I think what I was able to come up with for my character and skin is what I'm most proud of. I think the success I feel with it is because I laid out my goals clearly. I was able to work with them, have them work for me, instead of against me. In thinking about my character, with those goals in mind, my first thoughts on things that speak to me are the ocean and cryptic horror. I like mythology a lot, and so creating myself as some sort of cryptic monster really excited me. While there are a lot of cool sea monsters and creatures out there, I wanted something as a symbol that wasn't as defined as those were, something that was strange but well known, that could give space for me to define myself as I'd like to be, and thus kelp came to mind. Now that I had a vague concept of a creature conjured in kelp, I moved on to my next objective, which was to add in my disability. It both gets tiring to explain I am disabled to others, and it's also not a conversation people leave feeling happy from, but without it at all people will treat me as average, which can harm me to keep up with, so the challenge was set in finding a way to convey I am disabled in a fun, whimsical sort of way, that can get the point across, even if vague. The original story of The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen actually really speaks to my illness a lot. Thinking on this, I crafted up a haunted, curious creature that speaks to me and my illness in a way I'm so proud. In a way, instead of making something in spite of my illness, it is because of my illness. It's me in a fun way, a haunted cryptic curiosity. It's me in a way that offers a chance to communicate how I feel, but often cannot even express in real life. The character I crafted is this, a creature that comes into being in a soul sort of state, perhaps crafted of the souls of those lost at sea, or simply was conjured by the constant rolling of the sea. However it came to be, it is, and yet it has no body. As it drifts along it encounters creatures and things. Inspired by their looks it collects things around itself, to craft itself into a form that mimics the creatures it comes across. It has no mouth to speak and it borrows the eyes of a mollusk, but cannot see well with them, all while wrapping itself in a skin that is kelp. Now obviously, while I hold on to that character idea, I know that people will not know it, and I probably won't have a chance to explain it either, but it makes me smile and that idea informs the design of my player's skin in a very cool way. I made what I call a breathing skin. I have several variations of my skin, all for the express purpose of communicating how I'm feeling while playing. The most important skins to explain are the first and last versions, as the ones in between are simply a sliding scale between the two different feelings. The first version is what I consider my standard look, it is completely covered in kelp. The last version is an assortment of sea creature parts poking through the kelp. When I am in the covered with kelp state, I am experiencing some of the following things. On the positive, I'm either feeling collected, put together, in order, fairly well in an average sort of sense. For me, stable, I suppose, is the best word. On the negative, while using this skin, the pain I'm experiencing is a dull long ache. I feel guarded, trying to keep myself together, shielding myself from the pain. With my last skin, the range of feeling is in a bright, chaotic, or exposed sense. I'm either feeling my best or feeling my worst. The pain I'm experiencing, if I am experiencing pain above my normal, while in this skin, is a sharp stabbing sensation. Tears swelling in my eyes kind of pain. The flip side of this is that while wearing this skin I can also be feeling my best, I'm open, and ready for the challenge, and having a fantastic time. For all of my skins and the different versions, they all have dual, positive or negative, feelings attached to them. I did this because that is what reflects my illness best. I am never not in pain, so making a skin to signify I'm not in pain doesn't make sense, but the type of pain I'm in can inform what I'm capable of, or what my actions might be. This is very subtle communication and storytelling, but those that start to know me long enough, begin noticing this trend, even if only subconsciously, and even if only a little. It saves me from having to explain the question, "How are you feeling today?" Something very intentional about my skin is my lack of eyes or mouth, or even when I have eyes, they're in a strange place. While again subtle, this is showcasing that I have sight trouble, that even if I can see, it's different than how others are. It also further indicates that I cannot speak, as I have no mouth to do so. My skin, while not immediately obvious, stands out, and backs up anything I might express to those that are curious about it. So for me it is a great success, even if no one ever knows or notices it, it makes me smile. Because my skin is obscure, in a way that's not wholly obvious, I really wanted my name to make the point a bit more clear. That is how Kelp Needs Help came to be. Kelp is for the monster creature I created, and Needs Help stands for a few reasons, the silliest reason being that it rhymes with kelp, so it makes my name fun to say. On the more practical, serious note, I need help because I am disabled, I need help because I am new, and while that point will morph as I become not new, the last reason I need help is a reminder for myself. I was a very independent and driven person before my illness, and one of the most important things disability has taught me is that it's okay to need help. It's okay to ask for help, and so I am, Kelp Needs Help. In the crafting of my skin and character, it opened up a new way to play with others effectively. While I can't build much, I can build little. I can roleplay. I can't be a main character, but I can be a mysterious side character you find along the coast. I can leave little puzzle books and make scavenger hunts that people can enjoy even when I cannot be online. It's funny how much making my skin opened up ideas for me, but what it really did was finally, with all my ideas in place, gave me the motivation to try and learn how to fight in Minecraft with determination. And so in fall of 2022, I truly began my Minecraft journey.